last year when I did it, I didn't have a list printed for you guys to look at, and I think this is something is invaluable for you guys to have. I've always gone back to the roots if I get into a slum or a rut or I just get lazy and I do not know what to do or have an idea to start. So I keep my list in my desk, and every now and then I will pull onto the list to just go over and just remind myself what my daily tasks need to be. So that's why we got the list for you. So put it in your phone, save a picture of it or something. It's your cheat sheet. You'll always go to it anyway. Leo, I need your camera on, please. Otherwise, you can't get a credit for this. So I think we're ready. Guys, you think you're ready? I think so. I've got a good group here. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up. Beautiful day. Got a couple more days. Hey, there's Leo. Got a couple more days of sun before we get some snow. I think it's coming. But as Doug said a couple weeks ago, prospecting is key to this business or any type of sales profession. It's mandatory. You need a time block. You need to do this on a consistent basis, and you need to be ready for it. So the list you got, I'm going to go through it in the order, and it's not built in any order. It's just how I basically design my own list. And I think I know the first thing that you have to be is ready. You have to have your mindset. You got to be physically ready. You got to be rested. You got to be awake. Because if you go out the night before really hard and you want to wake up and do your business, it's never going to happen, right? So you gotta grow up. You gotta dress the part. You gotta be presentable, because nobody wants to do business with a slob, right? And I think everybody gets that point. And you're always working. So when you're out doing stuff, be presentable. Wear something that shows the public what it is that you do. Wear a Century 21 pin, put a hat on, have a sticker on your laptop when you go to the coffee shop. But be ready and be presentable. I like getting up early and getting the emails and stuff done that aren't that you don't have to wait till 9 o'clock or in your mindset when you think the recipient's ready to read it. You start sending emails out in the morning like I do. I usually start with, hey, no need to reply till you're awake on this one. It's just I just want to get this off my table. So get the stuff off your table that needs to be done in the morning. That's not your distraction of what you should be doing during the day. And what you should be doing during the day isn't emailing everybody. It's being in meetings. It's making phone calls. It's putting the personality to the profession. Some of the social media stuff can wait till the morning or wait till the evening, unless you're doing it live. I heard this was a new one that I heard is promise to serve. When you're talking to a prospective buyer or seller, tell them what it is that you're going to do and promise that you're going to do it. And in today's market, well, maybe it's changing a little bit when you have a buyer and there's no inventory out there. Promise them that you're going to call everybody that you know that's in the profession that works in that neighborhood to see if they know anything that's coming up. You're going to turn some stones and call people that you know that have done business there as well, and ask them for help. You might even want to flyer that neighborhood saying, I have a buyer for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, southwest facing unit in Yaletown, or a white picket fence in Langley. But what you want to do is promise that you're going to go over and above, but don't overpromise. Don't say what you plan on doing and not do it. You'll just get in trouble, and it'll come back and it'll slap you at some point in time. lead generation systems. You hear a lot of teams that have leads that they do online, and there's a lot of programs out there. And some are good and some are bad. Some are cheap, some are really expensive. The the most expensive part of a lead gen system is your time, and if you start wasting it and just spend money, then you might as well buy a new pair of shoes and not use them, type of thing. So the two ones that I are my favorite so far that I've seen are YLOPAL, and YLOPAL, that's Monopoly kind of spelled backwards. That's how they got to the name. And Agent Locator. They're both very favorable price points. I think you can get in at about a $600 a month spend, and you average about 30 leads a month. And they're web leads, or they're just, what they do is they have a software program that goes out there and they find the public that are looking at real estate. And when they see the shiny piece of real estate that they like, they'll click a button, they'll inquire about it, you get it. And then there's a way and there's a process of contacting that lead and how to handle that properly. If you want to go in deep onto that, come and see me on your own, and I tell you what styles work the best that I've seen, not only from myself doing it and or the teams in the office or the individuals. We run a lead gen system as well in the office for web leads. We're mostly organic now, but there's a method to the madness. When someone sends us an email and says, "Hey, I'm interested in unit 2304 at 950 Canby," there's something that we have to do in steps before we contact them, but we have to contact them very promptly. So if you invest in a lead gen SEO system, understand when your phone goes beep, you should be responding quick. Kind of interferes with your personal life, family life, dinners and evenings, but when that phone goes beep, that person's asking for information right now, and they're probably looking at somebody else's too. So you want to get to them as quick as possible. A CRM. Everybody in my company has heard me talk about CRMs, and it's a customer relation management program. It's your database. It's a database that is better than an Excel because it has action plans. It has you can sort by prospect type from A, B, C, and D, from buyers to sellers to male to female to whatever area in town. But it really is it's probably the second most important tool you'll use in the business is having a CRM. And Century 21 gives you a CRM for those of you that have not used one. That's all I use. It's all I use to keep in touch with you guys. It's all I use for our prospecting. It's all I use for my note taking, and I love it. And it's not perfect, but it's really, really good. And if there was a better one in the marketplace, I'd go and buy it. I've used other ones before. I've used Top Producer. I've used Maximizer. I've used Act. So I've been in these different types of CRMs, but all I know is it's only as good as the fingers that are typing in there and recording your notes. But the most important thing about a CRM is when you're talking to a prospect, you got to spend some time and write your notes in of what was said and what your thoughts were. Because when the next time comes for you to talk to that person, you got to give yourself you got to remind yourself of what was spoken and what was said, so you don't do it again, and you carry that conversation forward. My case in point, I meet a lot of people that want to come into this business, and I've made the mistakes where I meet a Bob Smith, I talk to Bob Smith, I diarize another call to Bob just as a follow-up, but I don't write my notes and I forget who Bob was. And if it happens to me, it'll happen to everybody. So write yourself some quick notes. If you want a session on the CRM in the Century 21 system, I can do that separately with a group of you, and show you how once you put somebody's name in and you classify them, the Century 21 system on the marketing side has an automatic drip campaign to remind them of who you are and what you do. And that is absolutely crucial for you as well. Is you got to remind your sphere of influence of what you're doing. And because the last thing you want somebody to say is, "Oh, I forgot you're in the business," because that is a heart stomp. That is probably the worst feeling in this business, when you didn't do your job and you missed it, and someone else picked up that customer because they were on top of them at the time. Um, you have to ask for help. You have to ask for help within your sphere of influence, whether you're new in the business or 20 years in the business. You've got to comb through everybody and start asking them, do you know of anybody that's interested in buying and selling real estate? One of the key points I've always mentioned is a lot of mistakes agents make as it comes to asking for a referral from an existing customer is they usually ask after the deal is done and the keys are handed off, and then you pick up the phone and you go, "Hey Sally, really nice helping you buy your home. Do you know anybody else that's interested?" And Sally right now, she's either packing or unpacking and she's gotten pretty busy. You talk to Sally or the Sallys of the world when you're in the transaction, when you're looking for real estate or you're helping stage, because they're so excited about what's going on in their lives right now. They're telling everybody. I promise you, they're telling everybody. And that's the time to hit them up. And it's not, and it's I think it's the perfect time. They will be your biggest cheerleaders. So that's why you do it then, and you'll be amazed at what you'll get from them. But I'm talking about somebody that you know is going to buy a home from you because you're showing homes. Somebody that has already committed to the listing, because when you talk to them on a day-to-day basis or a week basis about the progress of the listing and the traffic and the comments, you have to throw it out there. And if you feel too shy about it, that's probably your $100,000 mistake, because there's business there if you do it. The phone, I don't care if it's got a cord on it or no cord on it. It is the biggest income provider for you, to remind people that you are a person, because we all like to text. We all use different chat groups. Us as a company use WhatsApp. Different generations use different things, but it's the voice that always makes it. I send a lot of stuff as well for the voice and the face, for this chubby faces on the bomb videos, because it puts a tone to the message that we're trying to relay. But picking up the phone and talking to somebody and asking for help. So here's where this one kind of folds back into the last one. Is if you treat this business as you're in sales and you're always trying to get a buyer or a seller, people will stop answering your calls, because that you don't care enough about what's going on in their lives. So you should know you should know your customer. You should know birth dates, anniversary dates, special dates. You should be following them on their social media to congratulate them when their kids graduate from elementary school or high school. But those are the phone calls that will always get picked up. You should ask your buyer what's it like in the neighborhood on a regular basis. Every 6 months, phone them up and say, "What's new in your building? Can you send me your minutes? Is there anything that I should know about? Because I'm probably going to have another buyer for that building." And in that conversation, you can ask them that question again. Do you know anybody? But if you ask them for some information, they will give it to you. And if you have somebody that's a friend that's living in a strata condo, you can still ask them the same questions. "Hey, what's new in your strata? Have you ever seen the minutes? Can I get a copy of the minutes? Is everything working well? Any concerns? I'm just trying to make sure I understand what's going on in my backyard, because that's my job." And so when you go at them you're asking for information from them or something from them, it shows that you have a concern, and it will help in retaining that relationship. Does that make sense? I hope. Elena, it looks like you're in the woods. um, CMAs, and Natalia is going to do show us how to do a CMA in the Century 21 platform, the Moxie platform. But the idea that I've heard this from, and there's a guy, Larry, and he works for Century 21 Miller Realty in Oakville, Ontario, and he's been in the business. He's in his 4th year. He's probably 400 grand income earner, and he started his business with the Moxie platform doing CMAs to everybody that he knows, whether they own a property or they're renters. He did a real simple CMA through the Moxie platform to remind people of what their home is worth roughly. It's not accurate, but it gets your attention, and to his friends that were renting houses and apartments, what that place that they're renting is worth and how it goes up every year. Because in real estate, it's not a guarantee, but over the long term, the prices are increasing. Right now, we're in a market like this. But I'll tell you what, if any of you guys sent me a CMA on my home, I would open up that email. If you sent me a CMA of tell me what the Vancouver Real Estate Board stats are, just a generic one, I probably wouldn't open it because I've already read it before. But a CMA is I think is hugely important. And going into a CMA, there are softwares out there that a lead gen software that's looking for sellers, and it will say to the marketplace, hey, if you're interested on what your home's worth, fill in your address and we will send you a market comparable for your home. Some softwares will send that out on their own. It's automatic. I think that's the craziest idea to do. I think what you do is when you get that address, you then, instead of sending out the cheap and easy, you send out something that's more detailed and you drop it off to their home. If they live in a strata, you phone them and say, I've got your evaluation, I'd like to give it to you. And you hand it to them because that is the first starter of your relationship. Or if they live in a detached, do the same thing, make an appointment or put it in their mailbox, but get out of your office, get out of your home and go meet some people and shake some hands. But I think if there's a couple big takeaways in this conversation about prospecting, a CMA is gold. And Larry said that he was so surprised of how receptive everybody was on his CMAs. And then when he gets somebody that has an interest, then he'll go into even more detail to do a really, really accurate CMA, because the generic ones, you know, they just do the average. It's head in the freezer, feet in the fire type of thing, or vice versa, however that's said. But it's you want to, if you're going to try to get that listing, you want to be as professional as you can and as accurate as you can, because they're relying on you for that information. But if you've got someone that has a house that's roughly worth $1 million and you come to them with a CMA that gives them a price range of 800,000 to 1.2, I mean, anybody can guess that part. So understand that. And then in the neighborhoods that you can door knock, go grab somebody in the office, go side by side. It's easier with a pair than it is with one in most cases, and start knocking on the doors. And a neat idea for door knocking is if we have the listing in Kitsilano area over by Alma and stuff where all the houses are, and you know that we have a listing there, why don't you go door knock around the neighborhood and introduce those people that we have a listing. Our office has a listing at 1234 Alma Street. Would you be interested in seeing it, or would you know anybody that has an interest in moving into the neighborhood? And then you can bring in the conversation. How about you? What are your thoughts on selling your own property? You can market around our own stuff. If you have nothing to do, why not do that? You can print some feature sheets, print a nice feature sheet on yourself, but get out there, door knock, shake some hands. I know for a fact that all of you have the ability of doing that, because I hired you based on your social skills as well. I've always said that. I've always profiled, and none of you are too shy to do any of that. So, but if you think you are, and it's maybe it's a safety reason or whatever, grab somebody else. It's a nice walk on a nice day, and you never know what you're going to get, but you won't get any opportunity if you do not door knock and when you sit on your couch in your own living room. Speaking of getting out, we've got 5,000 feet in Yaletown. We have a bright, beautiful office that has lots of walk-in traffic. And for those of you that don't know, or you should know, is we run floor shifts. You just have to go to the front desk and ask Angel to be put on a floor shift, and we'll schedule you. Anybody that walks into that office, I'll pre-qualify, and I'll help you deal with that person, whether they're buyers and sellers. And there's lots of agents that have had lots of business on floor, but for some reason, because of COVID, the bums in the chair have settled out a bit. And I think we're ready to get back into the office and ready for the people to want to walk into that office, and it's happening. So if you're interested in that, just ask Angel to put you on a floor shift. She just needs a heads up a few days before the first of each month, so she can fit you on a schedule. Hosting open houses. For some reason, our office is really, really, really good at open houses. I've talked to a lot of other offices, and people kind of hum and haw, but for some reason we get it. And I think one of the biggest benefits of doing an open house is when you do it right, and you're there and you understand what the property's about. You understand what's outside those walls. You know the neighborhood. You know where the transit, the restaurants, the hospitals, the clinics, the grocery stores, everything that's important to that potential person that would buy that home. And every home is set up for a potential type of buyer, right? So understand the lay of the land. In your Century 21 website, you can type in that address of the home that you're about to do an open house for, and understand the lay of the land, because it has all the walkability scores that are there, and it tells you in detail what it is. But the person that you should be talking to as well, on top of that, is the listing agent of tell me what's good and bad about this property, because I need to know the answer. Because when you're hosting an open house, you do not know who you're talking to. It could be a neighbor. It could be a best friend of the person selling. It could be the person selling. And I promise you, if you look like an idiot and you can't answer the question, it's going to come back to you faster than anything that you'll possibly imagine, because the listing agent's going to get upset. They're going to have a hard enough time to keep that listing, all because you were not prepared. And your job to do that open house is to sell the property. So get out there and do it right, and you might get lucky to pick up some people that, one, will buy that property or buy something else within the neighborhood. But and then going back into your CRM, there's no point shaking a hand of somebody if you can't put their name in your database, right? You can hand out feature sheets galore and not get any information back, and that's just a waste of your print cost and your time. You should have, every time you do an open house, you should have the feature sheet in your phone. So when someone, and have a limited number of feature sheets, so when someone says, hey, I'd like to get some information on this property, you go, great, what's your cell number? I'll send it to you right now. Now it's a start. Now you know they're giving you something that's accurate, whether it's a cell number or an email. I'd rather work off cell than email, but that would be just my preference. But don't just hand out your business card without getting something back in return. And I can't harp enough that doing an open house is you showing that customer how professional that you are, because you don't know if they've got something to sell. You don't know if they know somebody that's got something to sell, and you don't know if they've dealt with the last realtor that's an idiot, and now you're the one that shines because you're so good. And I like competing with the lazy people because they just make us look better. So be ready for it. Don't go to an open house unprepared. And I mean, if you don't know the lay of the land around that property, then you're putting yourself into a very awkward position, because something could happen to you as 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 that owner reports or owner says something to the listing agent that you weren't any good. So learn the product. Killing trees. I say this all the time. Flyers, brochures, postcards. There's still a niche for it, right? I mean, a lot of the eyes are online. Most of the eyes are online, but there's a way to promote yourself, to help get in front of those people in that neighborhood. So if you're new to the business and you're doing an open house and you got a couple of bucks to spend, there's two spends that I would highly recommend. One is I would do a postal walk to that neighborhood. The minimum walk is 200 doors, whether it's a tower or not. I'll go back and I'll talk about postal walk for those of you that don't know what a postal walk is. A postal walk is unaddressed ad mail. So whether you live in a condo or at your home, and you open up your mailbox and you got a piece of paper that's not addressed to you, but it's something, that's a postal walk. And it's made for the postal carriers to keep a bundle, and every time they go to a neighborhood, everybody gets one in their mailbox or in their mail slots in their condos. But now the postal walk has improved and it's become easier, especially in a strata market, because every condo tower has its own postal code. So you can pick the postal walk by that tower, and you can mail directly to that tower to make sure that everybody in that tower knows that you're holding an open house. And if that tower only has 100 people, you pick 2 towers or 4 towers, whatever your budget is, and you blanket that sphere around that home or that unit that you're hosting. And then, so again, you're new to the business, you're doing an open house. Why not spend a couple of bucks and promote yourself as showing a listing that's right around where those people live? And if it's a house, it goes around a sphere of that house. And then again, I believe it's every 2 units. Every 200 doors. And then there's another one that we have, the app of Back at You Media. Back at You Media is a free app to you that we buy, and you can promote your open house, your listings, and your solds on that app, and it's super inexpensive, and the reach is amazing. $200 will get you 10,000 eyes. That's what we're told by the Vice President of Marketing for Facebook, who says Back at You Media is the best social media app to market on Facebook. So he's smarter than me. So that's all I say to you guys is this is the big. If Melissa gets a listing and she has a listing at 950 Canby, and that listing will be promoted through Back at You Media. Go into it and increase the promotion by $200. She'll be in front of 10,000 eyes or so in that sphere of influence who don't know who she is. She's going to promote it anyway with all her social media, and she has 1,000 followers on Facebook or Instagram. Then she's got a chance that some of those 1,000 will see it, but you have a better chance of some of the 10,000 will see it more. So do that for your listing. Do that when it sells, and maybe spend $20-25 when you're doing an open house to promote to 1,000 people. That's how you get exposure in the marketplace. And Back at You Media, to me, is kind of like that evolution of the postcards that I just talked about. Back in the day when Heather and I bought the company in 2005, everybody did postcards. Everybody did postcards. Our meetings in the office were, where did the business come from? Came from my postcard. How do you know? I gave a code in it or something like that to call me with a code. So there's two sets of eyes. People still like the physicals. People still like the internet or the technology. Figure it out yourselves, but promote yourself, because if you stay quiet, you won't do any business. And that's whether it's a slow market or a busy market. And going back to open houses, if you haven't done an open house yet and you want to get into it, come and see me. I'll introduce you to some realtors that have listings. They will allow you to shadow. Your mentor will allow you to shadow. to show you how it's done right, because I promise you, the guys that have the listings know how to do the opens. Um, okay, how am I doing so far? Everybody getting some tips? There's out of I think these 50 things, everybody should get 10 that are going to really resonate in your heads. I'm going to really hit on social media because it seems to be uh, uh, it's that's where we are today. So um, simple ideas. If you have no listings, we have listings. Ask our agent if it's okay to promote their listings on your social media. They're going to say yes because they want to represent the seller. You want to represent the buyer. So if you advertise it on your social media, your sphere of influence will see that you might have a listing, or you're in the business, or might know somebody. So that's a real simple one to do. When we have open houses in the office, go pull the data from the Paragon system and promote all our open houses in your social media. You never know what set of eyes you're gonna catch when it comes to that. So it's not all about promoting yourself. It's the royal we. We're bigger as a group. Promote your successes, and that's everything from obtaining a listing, getting a sold, doing an open house, achieving an award within the Century 21 platform, which there are multiple. But promote your successes. You finish a course for your PDP credit, like prospecting that you have today. Promote that you got an extra credit in prospecting because the opposite. Just do something online because you've got a bunch of friends and followers that you're going to touch. Not all of them, because not always on there, but it's just helping promote yourself. Um, Promote other businesses and services. Wouldn't it be great, Melissa, if one of your friends or your friends on a regular basis said, hey, if you want a good realtor, I suggest that you call Melissa. She's at Century 21. She's awesome. Swears a lot, but she's awesome. but you know, but so think about that. You go to a restaurant, promote the restaurant. You have your breaks done at a service station, promote that. You had it's do what you would want someone else to do for you, right? And then when you do it, you say to the garage or the restaurant or the painter or the plumber, hey, I really appreciated your service. Why don't you by the way, I promoted you. He's going to go to your social media, he's going to like it, and it's going to go to all his sphere of influence. Pretty simple. And it's a good feel. I don't want to see you guys poo-poo someone else's business or profession. I don't, there's reviews and stuff like that, but I take the high road unless someone really did something wrong. But, ask, go do it by example, promote somebody else's service, and make sure that they have done the service. Just don't pick a random restaurant out there and start promoting it, but do it for real and it will come back. But make sure that you tell the person that you did a review on them that you did it, because I'll guarantee you they're going to go and they're going to like it, and then it goes to their sphere. That's the domino effect. Promote, I've said this lots of times before, promote neighborhoods, promote buildings, strata buildings. We all got it. We all got a video opportunity to do it. So get your tripod, get your stick, whatever, and stand outside the 501 Pacific and say, hey, this is 501 Pacific. It was built in 2006 by Ani Construction. It's got 258 units from this size to this size. I don't know what their stats are or when it was built, but I know who built it. But promote it, right? Promote Kerrisdale, promote Kitsilano, promote Marpole, whatever it is, or Yaletown, wherever it is that you think your sphere of influence might have an interest in it. But understand the product, understand their neighborhood. It's content that will go out and stay out forever. Think about that. It's just not the one-offs. If you want Natalia to help clean up the video that you've done, shoot it to her. She might be able to do some quick edits and stuff like that. If you want to promote yourself, book an appointment with Natalia. We have the equipment, and you can come into the office or stand outside the office and say, hey, it's Robbie. I'm a realtor with Century 21. I'm at 421 Pacific Street, and talk about what your services are. And then she'll fix it all up for you, and she'll send it back. She's done it for me. A lot of the videos that we do in regards to the education, she just comes into my office. It takes 5 minutes. Bang, I ask her to make me look taller and thinner. She never has, but she's working on that. But it's just quick and easy, and you got a professional photographer there with a good microphone on you, and everything looks better than doing it yourself if you're not good at it like I am. But and do it in your languages. Geez, guys, if you have another language, then promote that language, because that it goes miles, right? That'll just, if you don't tell the world what other languages you speak, you're going to miss that opportunity as well. I talked about the home evaluation app. Promote your background. Promote your past businesses that you've been in. If you have that, if you're that displaced professional that comes in, you can talk about your retail experience, your service provider. If you were an architect, a designer, a painter, artist, or something, just promote who you are, because that's a lot of the reasons why people do business for you. Is not because you're a realtor, it's because you're a professional, and you've got experience in multiple professions. And you never know, maybe if you were an artist, another artist might think, well, I might talk to him or her about doing real estate because I can relate to them a little better. It's all about relations. I've talked about you utilizing back at you media. Like I said, that's probably one of the best kept secrets in our system. And it's constantly putting out content for you. As long as you're hooked up and spend a couple bucks, it will come back at you. It really will come back at you. Okay, what's our time? Oh, we're burning through this. All right. Okay. Market our suppliers, market our savings that we have. Century 21 has a connections benefits program that has umpteen different packages for not only you guys to save some money on buying and services, but for everybody that you know. So here's a list of a few that I've used, and Heather and I have used. The Brick. The Brick is the largest appliance sales company in Canada. So what we did is that we needed a new washer and dryer. Heather went out and shopped for the model that she likes. We sent that model number to our contact at the Brick. This is how easy it is. The fella from the Brick replied and said, yes, I have that model, and this is your price. And I think, what did we save, Heather? But how much? 25%. So how much was that? Okay, I always said $800. So Heather said we saved $2,000. Even better. Did I get any of that back? Or, but anyway, that's a wow factor for just emailing somebody. And if they don't carry that appliance, which is seldom, he'll give you something that is as good and comparable. And then you have the opportunity of saving money yourself. And think about this. Guess what? You're in the real estate business. Sometimes when someone buys something, appliances don't work. So you can tell them, hey, if you need to buy some appliances, here's the guy's name here's what you do at the Brick, and send that out on a regular basis, because you never know when someone's shopping around for something. You have investors that are buying income property, they're probably going to renovate it, the same thing. But put that out on a separate email. This is a touch point, is with all these topics that I'm about to give you, all these carriers, is if you need a favor, I have an in at the Brick. I can save you $50 on 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I can save you, I think it's 20% on Dew Point paint. Now, today, it's going to be an announcement at the beginning of the month. All West Insurance. I've signed a contract with All West Insurance that all of you, for your personal insurance, home insurance, tenants insurance, your travel insurance, but not auto, you will have a discounted premium if you go through All West. They have amazing carriers. They're a big brokerage. They're an amazing brokerage. And this is an opportunity for you because you're sitting with me to save a couple of bucks on your insurance. And you can pass that information on to your customers for their home insurance and their travel insurance and their tenant insurance. And if you're a property manager, the same thing with the landlords and to the tenants. Every tenant needs insurance. So I thought it was a great idea. I've been stewing this one for years. I came from the insurance business, and somehow I just picked up the phone again, phoned a couple of brokers. All West seemed to be the best fit for us because they are just that big. They can service the entire Lower Mainland, which is a trick. So you're welcome. I think that's a great one. Car rentals. I think we have budget and national car rental discounts. So when Heather and I go travel and we got to rent a car, first organizations that I go to are the ones that we have a benefit plan with. Sometimes we get a good rate. Sometimes there's somebody else with a better rate, but it's an opportunity. And hotel discounts. I don't know if Angel's on the call. I thought we did. We might have it, but if not, we just scratched that one off. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really, really good, respectable companies and opportunities that I'm sure your sphere of influence would love to hear about it, because I guarantee you that of everybody on here, probably 10% have done this. So do it. Everybody wants to save a couple bucks. Does that make sense? Does everybody like that one? I thought that's a big nugget there. I say this to everybody as well. Sit down one day, turn your phone off, turn your TV off, pour yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine and write 100 names down at the top of your head. And then you're going to call those 100 names and you're going to ask them for help. Don't look at your phone. Put Sally, put Bob, put Steve, put Sanjay, put whoever it is that's in the top of your head. I don't care where they live. If they live in Calgary, they're living in Newport Beach, the 100 names, and you're just going to call them to say hi, how it's going, remind them that you're in the business, or tell them that you're now in the business, and see where the conversation goes. Let's see who's on here. I'm gonna bug. Armando, there you are. You're new to the business. You have 100 people that you know just from your family relationships and yourself, and you told 100 people that you're in real estate. What percentage of those? What percentage do you think you might get a lead from?
Realistically, I would say 20%, 15.
Wow, 20 deals. Who else is there? That's let's see, Andrea. If you phoned 100 people that you know and told them that you're in real estate, do you think you'd get any leads out of that?
I would say probably around 5%, because most of the people that I know are in Mexico.
Okay. But I hear people from Mexico come and buy property here.
Yeah.
Gersh, you've been in business for a few years. You phoned 100 people that you know today. How many of those people do you think would give you a lead? What percentage?
I think maybe around between 5 to 10%, maybe something like that.
So I got 20%, I got 5%, I got 10%. Do it. Those are big numbers, guys. 20%, you know, if every deal is worth 10 grand, that's 20. It's a lot of money, right? So do it. Just it's an effort, but it needs to be done. Melissa, you've probably done it, but if you were to phone 100 people if you were to start off your business again and you had 100 names at the top of your head and you phoned all 100 names, knowing now what people did business with you that were your sphere, how many do you think would give you business? What percentage? Can't hear you.
Probably like 30%.
Okay. Those are bigger numbers than I thought I was going to hear. So guys, it's just, you've got great friends, you got great sphere, and I don't care where they live. It's a phone
And friends of friends. That's what I feel is something people overlook, is like, you're not just talking to that one person, you're talking to that one person who's connected with 20 other people, who's connected with 20 other people. that's connected with 20 other people,
Yeah.
all that you don't know, and asking them about it. They don't recognize that we have referral systems in real estate. So explaining that to them and asking them, oh, do you mind if I refer that person in your area, because I have a great referral partner there, and then they'll have better care. They'll be better taken care of. There's some accountability there. This person really cares like I do. It's like me dealing with them in another area. Would you give me that opportunity to connect them? And most people are open to it, and they really appreciate it, and they wouldn't have known about it because they're not in our industry, right? So it doesn't present itself to them unless you tell them.
Yeah, it's a huge trust, and I've said this to everybody. Your biggest customer will be somebody that will never do a transaction with you, but they'll give you the world because you treat them well. And then when you phone these 100 people and Andrea has 5% of them, let's say her 5% were all Lower Mainland people that gave her a name. Andrea should send something of value or a little thank you to them, but you send it to their work, not to their home if you can. Work's always first, more eyes. Little flowers, cookies, brownies, a gift card, nothing exorbitant, but just and a handwritten card saying thank you. It goes miles, guys. It goes miles. You don't have to keep pouring out money out of your pocket every time someone gives you the name. They're giving you a name because they trust you. And if you get into bed with someone that only wants to give you names because they're gonna make a buck off you and they're gonna really try to grind you down, you're going to be doing business with that type of person too, right? And your time is super valuable. But anyway, think about that. If when we get off this phone call today and tonight, if I don't have half of you guys sit down at home, and if you don't have 100 names and you got 40 names, you call 40 people the next day just to say hello, right? And I don't know why people are afraid of this thing, but it's an amazing tool if it's used right. Last one on this page, volunteer. Volunteering is not just for business. It's probably more for giving back to a community or an association that you find dear to your heart, right? This is not all about business and making a buck. This is about having the ability and the wherewithal to put some time back in to make somebody else's life a little bit easier, right? Whether it's volunteering at BC Lions Society, Easter Seals, that's our charity of choice, or volunteering at your kid's school or whatever. I'm sure that it'll make you feel better. It gives your mindset something else to do, and there's a chance that you might pick up a piece of business from it, right? So volunteering kind of is you're prospecting for your soul more than you are for dollars, but sometimes it will come back to you. But I would encourage everybody to do it. I'm going to do a couple more, Natalia, and then I'm going to get you to go on and do that CMA for everybody. Then I'll finish up. Actually, Natalia, you there?
Yeah.
You want to take the screen now and show everybody how to do a simple CMA in the Moxie system. And guys, just before she does it, Moxie has a really good CMA, and I know Paragon and stuff have it too. My point is, do a regular CMA to your sphere of influence, whether they own or they're renters, and do it 6 months after everybody gets their tax reports. Don't do it at the same time because they've already seen it. So schedule it at the off-peak hours. Are you ready to do it, Natalia?
Yeah, perfect. I'll start sharing my screen.
Okay.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm just going to show you how to do a simple CMA that you can send to your clients. So first, you want to go to Hub 21. If you don't know how to access Hub 21, you just go to your Gmail account, click on the Google waffle, and then scroll down and you'll see Hub 21, and you just click on it. So to create the CMA, we're going to work with C21%, which is our presentation tool. Once you click on it, you're gonna see your presentation dashboard. If you have not created presentations before, it's gonna look empty, but I have been working on different presentations, so I can see the presentations that I have worked with. So to create the CMA, you wanna go and click on the create new, and then you're gonna select the type of presentation that you wanna do, whether this is for a seller or a buyer, and you just click on continue. Then you select the type of template. I'm just gonna go with the default. And then prepare for, so here you wanna put your client's name. So let's say this is for Angel. And you just click create. So then it's gonna look something like this, empty. If it's a listing that is active in the market, you just copy and paste your MLS number. If it's a listing that is off market, you wanna go ahead and fill out all this information. So you're gonna be inserting all the property information, location, etc. So I have mine already filled out, so I'm just gonna go ahead and work on that one. And you can also add a picture of the property, the one that's gonna be showing on your CMA. So once I have filled out all the information that I consider is important, number of bad bets, etc., I just go ahead and click on continue. So here is the search tab, which is basically where you're gonna be able to select your comparables. Why is it showing? So you can either select your comparables based on location, but you can also work with other filters. If you wanna put a minimum and maximum price, you can do that, number of bad bets. And we have other options that you can scroll through them and select the ones that apply the best for you. So after you have selected those filters, you're gonna see the different comparables that meet those requirements. If you wanna select that property as a comparable, you just click on the plus sign that you can see when you go on top of the listing. So when you're happy with the comparables you have selected, you go continue, and now it's gonna ask you the display order of these comparables in your CMA. So from the drop-down menu, you can see the different options: active to sold, sold to active, based on market, etc. So for this, I'm just gonna go price high to low, and then just click on continue. Now this tab is the estimated pricing, which is where you're gonna be telling your clients what the property is valued at, the pricing stats, and you also have the summary of low, average, and high pricing, considering the comparables that you have picked. You can also adjust the range. And if you have any other remarks that you want to let your clients know, you add them here. And here is where you have your presentation, which works as a CMA. If you just want to send a simple CMA, what you're going to do is that you're going to go through the different pages that the system has generated for you and select those that you think are important for your clients to see. Those that you think that you don't need them, you can just remove them. So for instance, side-by-side comparison, I think it's the same as status comparisons. So I'm just gonna remove the side-by-side comparison. So my client's not seeing this information repeatedly. And then on pricing analysis, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this page as well. And to view how your CMA looks for now, you can just go on view, and while it loads, as you can tell, this is the CMA works as has the look of a website. Starts with your information, then with the property information, then with the map, and so on. So this is what your clients are going to be receiving based on the information that you have provided and the comparables that you have selected. If you think that your CMA is ready, you can just easily send this to your client. You can either send the presentation as the one that I just showed, which we recommend because whenever you make changes to the presentation, it's going to go live on the presentation that you have sent to your client because it works as a website. But you can always feel free to send the PDF as preferred. So let's say you're sending this to Michael. You select his contact, you check for consent, and if you have a greeting that you want to put, you do it. If you have a message, you add it, and you just click on send, and your client's gonna receive it. Now that we have, deleted those pages that we don't consider important, as well as selected the filters that we think are important, what we want to do is to save this as a template. So next time that we want to send a CMA for our clients, we have this template already saved and we can work with it. So for instance, I'm just going to save this as a CMA, and you want to select all so that this template works for all of the different type of presentations that we have, and you just click on save. So next time when you are in your homepage and you want to create a new CMA, this template that we just saved is going to show right at the beginning. So let's say this is for a seller. We want to select a template. You go on my templates, and here's the one that we just created. You just click on continue. Then this is for Michael. You click on create, and the pages that you saved previously are the ones that are going to be showing here. So it just saves you some time, and you have to work through the same process, filling out the information. But as you can tell, the same pages will be showing on here. You don't have to go through deleting them again. And it's the same process. Send to your client. You can view it before sending it. And that's basically how you can easily create a CMA for your clients.
Awesome. So just so you guys know, it's not all automated. You just don't take your database, put it into a thing, and it regurgitates it out. You got to go to every one of your customers and put in their address. And what I like about sending a short template is you want to make it simple on their eyes. Your footnote should be, I can give you a more comprehensive idea, just let me know, but this should be done on a regular basis. Larry in Oakville, Ontario said, by doing this and sending out handwritten Christmas cards to everybody that gets a CMA, he was getting so much business from it in his first few years of starting. And now it's just an old habit that he will never break. So again, I think that is a fun tool to do, because a lot of us know people that own, and a lot of us know people that rent, and it's another great touch point to send out. And like I said, if anybody sent me a CMA on my property, I'd look at that email every time, and I don't care if I get 5 in 1 month. I'd always look at that. So thank you, Natalia. I appreciate that. More prospecting ideas. Contact expired listings. There's a couple ways to do it. You can write the expired listing a letter introducing yourself and your services, or you can phone if you figure out how to find their phone number. But you cannot contact expired listing if it tells you that they don't want to be contacted. So rules that you should go is, you make sure that it's expired. 2 is you make sure that it doesn't have a do not call list on it. And 3, make sure it's not relisted, because phoning a customer that's already listed, and that's a gunfight nobody wants to get into. So please watch out for that one. For sale by owners, I'm willing to bet that's going to spike a bit in this kind of weird political real estate profession that we're in these days. So my suggestion for sale by owners is, I'll tell you how a lot of people do it, and I think it's wrong, is you get someone that's trying to sell their own property, and you get a bunch of realtors that tell them that they don't know what they're doing and they'll never have success. And that's why you got to use me, because I'm better than you. And if I was going to try to sell my own home and I had someone say that to me, whether it's in person or an email, I tell them to go pound sand. But what I would really appreciate if someone said, hey, I see you're trying to sell your home. Can I come and take a look at it? Because you never know if I'm going to have a buyer for it. And then that person's going to say, well, go take a look at the photos I have online. And then you're usually going to say, well, your photos aren't very good. I would suggest that you hire a photographer, because that's one of the first rules that you have to do is have great photos and lots of photos. But I'd still like to see it at Tuesday at 2:00. You get yourself in the door, you look at their property, you give them some suggestions on what they should do, you know, but don't poo-poo their effort. Tell them they need to paint that wall. Tell them that, you know, these electrical boxes, this is what people look at and stuff. Offer ideas. And then if you keep in touch with them, chances are you're the only one that's trying to help. And when time comes for them to actually use a professional to do it, I bet you've got a really, really good chance. I really do. So go at a FSBO, go visit the FSBOs. Don't be bossy to them, but offer assistance. You know, and if you're trying to figure out what to do, if you don't have any open houses on a Saturday, you know, go look at your list, go look at Craigslist for people that are trying to sell their own places and see what you get from it. Christmas cards, birthday cards, handwritten stuff goes a long way, guys, and it takes a lot of time to do it. So your 100 names should be your close 100 sphere of influence, you know, and then your customers that you build on from there. But take the time, send that out, because I know I still like getting handwritten cards. I have a cousin in Reno, Nevada. Every Christmas, she writes us a story about what's going on, and just love it, right? So I think that's just, you know, that's just me. I'm old in the tooth, so I like the written stuff. But try it, you might like it.
I have a question.
Yep. Who's that?
Robbie.
Yep.
For Moxie, when you send the CMA, does it get sent by your Century 21 email? Like, can people respond to that? How can you track it?
Yeah, comes from you. Yeah, it comes from you, and it says, you know, when Larry sent it to us yesterday, it came from Larry. I can reply to Larry. It takes from Larry sending me ours, it took about 20 minutes to get the content and all that to us. So don't expect that it's going to happen in a minute, like a standard text Gmail type of thing. But yeah, good question, Robbie. There's something new that I've been seeing lately online and maybe someone can answer the question too, but I thought it's kind of cool. I'm seeing realtors walk through other people's open houses and video it, saying that I'm walking in at 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street and stuff. So, and if you do a great video, or you have someone that does great video to do it, I think that is an amazing tool, because it kind of looks like you're presenting your own listing. But I would think that you would need permission from both the agent that has the listing, and the agent needs to get a hold of the seller. Does that need to happen, guys? This is kind of new to me seeing this. Anybody done it? Anybody? Well, ask the question, guys, because, you know, I'm seeing, and especially for some of this luxury property, I think it looks good. I just want to make sure that it's that you can do it. What's that?
I've done it a bunch of times. I've never had anybody say it, because I mean, they look at it as it's more eyes on their property. It's free advertisement. Okay. And potentially I'm bringing a buyer, right? So it's helping the agent, it's helping the seller. Never had them. I always ask. I don't just do it, but
yeah.
Yeah, ask. And the only time I've been told no is when it was a tenant. Won't happen in luxury, I guess.
Well, it's so anyway, and then and here's the other question: agent opens, are they back on again? Melissa, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and like making them kind of more like a social, you know, I've noticed that's happened a lot more, and it's great, right? Because essentially agent to agent's a huge source of somebody bringing someone in, and just working together with other agents as well, with this, like, you know, send your buyers whatever you need your way, no problem, send your buyer, I got you, like,
okay, so
working together with people.
Okay, so agent opens, guys, every Friday. It's downtown and Kitsilano Fridays. So if you have nothing to do between 10 a.m. and 12 a.m., go see what the agents opens are. Agents opens are open for agents to promote the listing that just came to the market, but there's always public that goes to those too because there's signage. Bring your camera, bring something that shows that you're a Century 21 realtor, and walk through some different price points that if you have buyers, go through those buyers price points if that's the neighborhood that they're in. But if you don't have buyers and you want to see what's going on downtown, pick a luxury one, pick the highest price, the lowest price, and something in the middle, and get 3 stages of content on a Friday. Thursdays, I believe it's the North Shore. So pick the areas that you want, and you always got an opportunity to create content that way. Partner with a professional. It's kind of the same thing about doing, rating, not rating, but giving praise to a great service company is there's lots of people that are doing podcasts and stuff, and if that's your shtick, then go for it. But it's nice every now and then to sit down, and we can do it in our office, and Natalia can help you out, and you bring in a mortgage broker, and they can talk about what's going on in the lending rates. You can bring in a bank lender, someone from not a mortgage, like someone from RBC. Same thing. You can bring in a real estate lawyer or a notary. I'd always go for a real estate lawyer. Let them talk about their expertise. An insurance agent. Hey, All West Insurance. You can bring in an insurance agent, and they can tell you about different types of coverages, because you guys don't know insurance as well as they do, and they don't know real estate as well as you do. Bring in a car salesperson. Bring in someone that's selling electric cars to diesel cars to luxury cars to whatever. Let them toot their horn on your sphere of influence, because they're going to promote that to all their sphere of influence. And it's cross-pollination. And service providers, plumbers, electricians, home inspectors. There's umpteen different opportunities for that. But and these aren't people that you have to do a lot of business with. But it's just if you want to make content and you want to be relevant, not just in real estate but other spheres, this is the way to diversify your audience. And it's a really, really good way to get other eyes on you that you'd never have the chance, because that car salesman and that real estate lawyer will tell everybody that they just did something on your platform, and those eyes will come to you. Then you might get more followers, you might get more friends, you might get some business, who knows. I've already said this, I think, once, and this might be redundant. Market your successes, your awards, your listings, your open houses, your course achievements, your if you get different levels in the real estate, like you get your broker's license or something like that. Just market yourself, because people want to see you succeed. They really, really like seeing that, right? And they don't know what level those awards are, but who cares? But you've done something and you feel good about it. And there's nothing better than having somebody say, "Hey, Robbie, I saw you got an award. Way to go." Because that's someone calling Robbie, or someone sending Robbie a text or a message on social media. And another good idea is if you don't have any buyers in your pocket, or sellers in your pocket, and you need something to do to prospect, ask realtors in our platform, does anybody have a buyer that's looking for a product that they can't find? I'm going to pick on Melissa all day. Melissa's going to say, I have someone looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, Kitsilano, McDonald going west, whatever the area is. And if I was that realtor, I'd start marketing that neighborhood for those 2-bedroom, 2-bathrooms. And I would start calling other realtors and say, hey, we have a buyer. We have a buyer looking for this. I saw that you sold in this building last week. Do you know anything coming up? Start trying to turn over some rocks to see what's happening. You're building relationships with other realtors out there. you could kill some trees and do some flyers into that exact postal code that we have a buyer for that. You could do it on your social media. We're looking for this in this area. Anybody know? But you're putting yourself out there instead of just waiting for someone to call you. I think that's a really good opportunity to, as Melissa said, you got to make friends on the outside too, right? And if you have somebody that you turned over a stone and they found something, you did a transaction, I'll guarantee that they will think of you next time they're looking for something too. So you kind of work together. I think a CMA template is something that you need to really focus on. Less is more. Make sure it promotes you. Make sure that the data that's going to be sent is accurate to the extent of a quick CMA can do. But if you know in your gut feeling that's the wrong price, don't hit send. Fix it. Spend a little bit more time on it, but don't look like a fool. Content in our Century 21 platform, they tell us the only thing that really needs to be done on your website is blog. So blog about your opens, blog about your successes, anything that you're doing on social media, cut and paste it and put it into your blog. Hire a content creator. They're cheap. You can get some of these, but hire local. Don't hire something overseas that does not know what the neighborhoods are, and get them to write up little write-ups on neighborhoods and stuff like that and post it. It's original content. Here's a nugget. I just saw this one yesterday. I saw it live and I saw it happen. Took a realtor that I believe we're going to hire, took him for lunch. We went to Cactus Club. He wrote on the back of his card to our server, "Hey, that was really nice. You did a great job." She replied to him saying her and her boyfriend are buying real estate and they would like to talk. Cool. So, it's nice to say thank you. You never know what you're going to get when you do that. But I thought that was a kind of a cool thing. He says he's been doing it for years. So you have a great service, send them a card, hand them a card, do something. You never know if it's going to come back positive. Well, we'll come back positive when you say thank you and stuff like that. So those are I got some questions here. Those are my prospecting tips and tricks. The last I'm going to leave you with is it's not 2023 yet, so you should be starting to think about a business plan, but you still got a month and a half in a 12-month period to get some more work done. So keep prospecting. Don't today start thinking about where you're going in 2023. You can start thinking about it, but you still have to finish your 12-month year here. I see what's questions. Michael, have you? I have to leave for me. Okay, so there's just personal notes there. So I'm going to open the floor up. I promised this was going to be an hour, running over a little bit, but you all stayed, so that's great. Does anybody have any questions or want me to go over a couple points? If you do, just turn your mic on. Did I kill you guys today? Okay, well, thank you for attending. Angel, thank you so much for making the list for everybody. Guys, print that list. Like I said, save it to your notes or whatever it is that you could go do that. If you did half of that, you'd be so friggin' busy. 100 names, do the 100 names, do your CMAs, put everybody into a CRM, whether it's the Century 21 platform or something else. But you have to do those things. You have to be organized. You have to look sharp. You have to be prepared, be presentable, and be ready, right? Because if you're not ready and you get that question that you should have known or should have known how to handle the question and you fumble it, then there's lots of fingers at you. unfortunately. So I'm gonna and Natalia, thank you for doing the CMA presentation. That was lovely. We're looking at, for the CMA presentation, to be able to put sold data into those descriptions as well. And we're dealing with the Vancouver board about getting the content, if they're willing to give it out yet. So thanks, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the office. And come to the office. There's places and chairs there for you. Okay, guys? Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.